Okay, let's jump into the topic really quick. So we have completed the three classes. One is file, second one is file writer, and the file reader, right? So the basic idea about file writer is to achieve consistency. Do you agree with that? Hello? When the
Yes, sir.
Java, when you have a Java program, if you want to store the data permanently, right? So the concept is called as what? Achieving persistency. So this is a kind of technical word, and fundamentally you can achieve this by using a concept called as file writer. So after achieving the persistence, if you want to read the persisted data, then you can go for what? You can go for file reader. So these two operations are related to writing some data into the file and reading some data from the file. But if you look into the first class, which is called file, this is just going to help us to create a file. That's it. You can create a file, or you can delete a file, or you can change the directory, or you can define the path. It is very much limited to the file creation and file deletion. Apart from that, the writing and the reading operation cannot be done in the file class. So in order to do that, you need to go for file writer and file reader. So yesterday we have seen some programs on top of file writer as well as on top of file reader. So now today we are going to see about something like there is a class called buffered writer. Okay, firstly I will tell you the importance of buffered writer, why one has to go for buffer writer. Then we will understand the comparison with one program. Okay, we will understand about the performance between the buffer writer, and also there is a concept called PrintWriter. We'll understand the performance, okay, the actual performance between these three classes at the last. Okay, so let me introduce what is a buffer writer. So if you ask me, is there any speciality about the buffer writer? I would say that buffer writer is little bit advanced than file writer. Buffer writer is what? Buffer writer is a little bit advanced than the file writer, right? So do you see any disadvantages in the file writer? Have you come across any disadvantages in the file writer? Hello? Hello?
We cannot store all this.
Yeah, okay. So, the one disadvantage, yeah, that is also a valid point. Okay, see, file writer, there is a design flaw, guys. There is a design flaw. So when I say design flaw, right? So you work with a different operating system, right? Not flow, it's flaw. So you work with different operating systems. So Sudhir might be using Mac, Balaji might be using Windows. Okay, some other person might be using some other operating system with different processors, right? This file writer is like the behavior is going to be different for different operating system. For example, yesterday we were discussing about the \n, right? So this is going to give you a new line. Okay, it has to what? It has to add a new line. Okay, this \n is going to do what? The purpose of \n is to add a new line in a file. Okay, but it does add a new line in the Windows operating system. Sometimes it does not add the new line in the Mac operating system. If you use \n in the Mac operating system, you would end up in seeing the \n as a character itself. It will not add a new line. When I say like this, for example, if you are giving an entry like so Java \n, we are expecting this \n to give a new line. But when you use this in a Mac operating system, okay, everything will be printed, everything will be treated as a complete string. Even this \/ will be treated as a string, and n will be treated as a string. There is no speciality for this \n in the Mac operating system or any other operating system. So to overcome this, they have introduced what? Buffered writer, which is compatible in all operating systems. This is the first point you have to remember. Second point is the performance wise, the buffer writer is far more advanced. The performance wise, it is more fast than the file writer. It is high in performance. Buffer writer is high in performance. Okay, what we will do is we will just try to I will just try to give the justification why it is high in performance, and also I will just try to give a justification to overcome this flaw. So how to create an object by using the buffer writer is very simple. Typically you use buffered writer dw equal to new buffer writer. Okay. It is going to accept this constructor is going to accept a parameter, but here you cannot give the parameter as what? You cannot give the parameter as the file path. You cannot directly give the file path as the parameter. If you give this as a parameter, you will get an error. This is invalid. Unlike in file writer, if you use file writer directly, if you are giving the file path, so it is going to consider that file path. Or if the file path is already not there, a new file on that particular path will be created. But buffer writer won't expect a file path here directly. Instead of expecting a file path, it would accept the writer object as an argument, or it would expect the file writer object as an argument. Example, let us look into one example, simple example. Buffer writer pw equal to new buffer writer. Okay, if I just give the absolute path, or if I just give the file path here, let us say that I am giving this file path. So in the D directory there is a files folder, right? There is a folder called files. I just want to give this file path, and after giving this file path, I just want to add a file by the name of abc.txt. Okay, let me import this. It is part of java.io package. Okay, so it is saying you cannot pass the argument as a string. It is not accepting the string type as an argument. But if you use file writer, okay, file writer would accept the string as an argument directly. You can directly pass the absolute path here for the file writer. You know what I mean? Okay, for the file writer, it is completely valid. Or is let me okay, for the file writer, it is not giving. Are you seeing any error for the file writer? If I run this code, do you think that a file by the name of abc.txt will be created? Yes, no? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Right? But for the buffered writer, you cannot pass the string as an argument. You cannot pass the absolute path as an argument. Instead of passing this an argument, you have to pass the file writer object as an argument. Internally, it will consume the file writer object as an argument. Are you able to understand now?
Yes, sir.
Right? You have to pass the file writer object as an argument. So this is how it looks like. For example, if you want to communicate with the file, let us say that this is the text file that you want to write something into this text file abc.text by using the Java program, right? So you cannot use the buffered writer directly. Instead, you need to consume the file writer inside this buffered writer object. So this is the file writer that you need to give. Okay, and this is the buffered writer option. So through file writer, by using the buffered writer, you can establish the connection for to put the input into the text file. Okay, the connection can be established through the file writer. So this is very important. You will understand. Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Now let me say, so this is valid, okay, as per our understanding. Okay, the first one is invalid. Okay, do you agree that the first one is invalid? You cannot have the path directly, so I can mark it as, and I can keep a cross here because it is completely invalid. Second one is valid. Likewise, there are some cases, okay, if you want, you can also do this. So buffer writer bw equal to new buffer writer. I cannot pass the file object as an argument here. I cannot pass the reference of the file as an argument here. That is also completely invalid, right? But I can do, so this is also invalid. This case is also invalid. The only case is valid is, so it is going to consume the file writer object as an argument. So this file writer object will take care of the actual path where the data needs to be written. Okay, to increase the performance in the real-time applications, what they usually do is simply they create a buffer object like this. They create what? They just create a buffer object like this, and again they create one more buffer object, buffer writer bw1 equal to new buffer writer. Okay, inside this they keep the existing buffer object inside this. So these two lines of code is not going to do anything new, but to increase the performance, they keep a buffer writer object inside another buffer writer object. So the diagrammatically, if I want to represent, there is one buffer writer object. On top of it, there will be another buffer writer object. So this is the buffer writer object one, PW1. Okay. So this is going to ensure that the large chunks of data can be pushed at once to the RAM. You can deal with large set of data. Are you able to understand are you able to visualize this two lines of code behind the scenes? Are you able to visualize this? I'm keeping a buffer writer object inside another buffer writer object. BW, I'm placing it inside another, a buffer writer is being placed inside another buffer writer. Why I'm doing this? Because of this, behind the scenes, you get the Java gets a lot of space so that the large set of data can be pushed at once. If you are dealing with a large amount of data, you can go by this. So just to increase the performance. Let me tell you, I will show you how the performance is increased, but these are the constructors that is already there for the buffer writer. If you want to write something into a text file, this is how you have to go. To keep it simple, I'm removing this. Right? Likewise, like I said, there are the methods. The methods are going to be same. The same methods that we have used for file writer. You can use the same methods to add inputs to the to add data into the abc.txt file. So what are the methods that we have discussed yesterday? Buffer writer dot. Going to think that we have a write method with the three overloaded constructors. You can write the character. You can pass a number here. So what equivalent character will be stored in the file because of this number?
Small c, I think.
I think capital D, no? 100. Small d, no? I'm not sure. Let's see.
Yes, sir. Don't.
Small. Okay. So what are the remaining methods? We have also we can also pass a character array, isn't it? You can also pass a character array. You can take some characters like A, like B. You have what? You have A. You can also pass the character array. Okay. So let me pass the character array. bw.write. Yes, this is also valid. And what else you can do? You can also pass the string directly. So bw.write. This write method can accept a string like I love programming languages. I love programming languages. Okay, what are the remaining methods we have? Have you remembered about the flush method? bw.flush. Hello? What is the purpose of this method? Okay. The moment you start writing the data into the text file, all the data will be collected inside the RAM. Okay. As soon as you start using the flush method, every data will be pushed at once and will be having the, I mean, it will have only one disk operation. If you're not using Flash, the disk operation will happen repeatedly. I will tell you that, okay? With programmatically, I will tell you that. And there is also another method called close method. Either you can use close method directly. This close method will take cover of flush method, will call flush method internally, or else if you want, you can close the program. Okay, if you run this code, you will see the same thing in the screen. Okay, the output is going to be same, but we need to understand the difference. Okay, and now something is happening here. Let me open the file. File is created. Okay, if you see D Java, everything is concatenated in a single line because we haven't used any, any specialized characters like backslash n and all, isn't it? Okay, so instead of, because I have said no, backslash n is a it is creating a complexity, it is a design flaw, because for Mac operating system or any other operating system the behavior is going to be different. To avoid this, in the buffer writer class they have introduced a specialized method called new line method. When I say new line method, okay, wherever you want to add a new line, okay, after copying the character 100, if you want to add a new line, you have a method called new line method. Okay, after adding this character, if you want to add a new line, you can just call new line method. After adding this I love job, if you want to add a new line, you can just call new line method. Run this code, okay, and what you would see usually, are able to see the difference now?
Yes, sir.
So this is one of the advantages. The second advantages is in the performance wise. Let us say that the buffer writer is taking 50 milliseconds to execute. I mean, to to copy the data into the disk, it is taking 50 milliseconds. And if you want to copy the same data by using file writer, it may take 500 milliseconds. So when you consider time, okay, buffer writer is going to consume less amount of time. That's the reason why they say the performance is always high in comparison with file writer. Understanding? Don't ask me how this. We will see this in the last. Okay, I will show you this in the program. Have you understood the two advantages that I am talking about? What is the one thing that you see here, which is completely different from file writer? New line method, right? Okay. Second
Yes,
advantage, if I
sir.
ask you, the performance is high. Okay, these 2 points you can keep in mind for now. Hello, getting this? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now let us see. Okay, now we have understood about the concept of the buffer writer. Right? Likewise, so what else we need to understand after the buffer writer? So something like buffer reader. Let us see the advantage. Let us see the what else we can do with the buffer reader. How it is different from the file reader. Buffer reader. The BR equal to buffer reader. Okay. So you cannot pass a string here. Like I said, for the buffer writer, where the buffer writer constructor will not accept a string argument, here also it will not accept a string argument directly. Instead of that, it will consume the file reader argument. From which file you want to read the data, okay, that file you need to first, we need to use the file reader object to give the absolute path of that particular file. Okay, I have created a file reader object. I want to read data from which file? The file that we have just created now. Okay, abc.txt, right? It is inside. Let me copy this. Okay. / abc.txt file. The file reader. Let me import this. It is part of java.io package, right? And what it is saying, file, new file reader. I'm sorry, new file reader. Okay, it will buffer reader will accept the argument of file reader object. Are you able to understand? You cannot pass the absolute path directly, location directly. You need to take help from file reader object. Hello? Getting this or not?
Yes, sir.
So what are the methods? Do you remember what are the methods that we use for file reader to read the data? What are the methods that we have used? Anyone?
Read method.
Yes, very good, very good. We have something like read method. No? Let us put the methods here. We have something like the read method. What else we have? You remember? What are the methods? Okay, read method only, but read method, same read method of two different variants. One read method without no argument and the second read method with the character array argument. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now we know that by the help of these two methods, which is already applicable for file reader class, the same can be applied for buffered reader as well. Okay, but here you have one more additional method which is called as what? Which is called as the read line method. The only difference is this read method, the return type is int. Do you agree with that? Hello?
Yes, sir.
This is all the return type is int. Agreed, no? But the read line method, the return type is character. The advantage is, return type is string. The only advantage is these two read methods are going to read the data character by character, one character after another character. But this is going to read the complete line. Are you getting? This is going to read
Yes,
the
sir.
complete line. See, very simple, guys. No need to get any confusion. We have a text file here. Let us say that you have Balaji in the first line. Second, say you have Java program in this second line. Right? These two read methods are going to read the data character by character, one after the another character. But the read line method is going to read the complete line of that particular file at once. If the lines are available, it is going to read the line. If it finds there are no more lines, it is going to return the null value condition. Right? So let us do a program here. Let us say that I have the buffer reader here. What I just said, okay, there is a method called string. Return type is, let me do like this, dot read line. So you see no read line. The return type of this read line is what? String. It is going to read a line at once. It's going to read a line. Okay, I'm taking a variable as line itself. Okay. After reading the line, if I just want to print system.out.println, okay, line. Right? What do you think the output is going to be? The first line, right? The first line of this particular code, right? Let me run this. Do you see D? Why D? Because if you open the file, the first line is what? D, right? If I want to repeat, if I want to keep repeating this, very simple, what I can do, okay, I can use the line object once again, okay, and I can extract, and I can print the line itself. If I want to repeat it once again, I can use the line, I can copy and paste the same line. I can copy and paste the same line. The repetitive operation will give us, okay, all the data is getting extracted line by line. Are you able to see D, Java, I love programming languages. The moment it is not identifying any lines, are you able to see the null value here?
Yes, sir.
How to write
Yes,
a,
sir.
now don't you think since it is a repetitive one, can I use a while loop?
While loop.
Yeah, very good. Can use the while loop. No? So while as long as the value is not null, right?
Yes, sir.
While as long as the value is not null, I can just keep the first thing here, right? As long as the variable is not returning null, not equal to null. Okay, system.out.println, read the line, okay, and repeat this. Read the line and repeat this. Read the line and repeat it. Once the line becomes null, this will be the while loop, I mean the control will come out of the while loop. Making sense?
Yes, sir.
No? Now do you see one advantage here when you comparatively, compare this with what we call it as the file reader? What advantage do you see here?
We can print line
Yeah,
fully.
like only that one. That is the only advantage that we can see. Not only that advantage, I would also say that while reading, the performance is much. I mean, the reading is going to be much faster than the file writer. Performance wise, it is good, and also it is going to read line by line. That is the one advantage that you are getting. Okay, if you just go and see the actual what we call it as is the hierarchy, right? This is the hierarchy. You have an object class. Just remember this. You have an object class. Object class has two abstract classes. We have the writer class. This is an abstract class. Abstract class. This is also an abstract class. Okay. This abstract class as an implementation class, which is one of the class that we have discussed, is what buffer writer, file writer. And again, file writer is not directly available. Okay, file writer is under output stream writers. We will discuss about this in the next topic. Okay, and if you see, there is something like file reader and buffer reader. We have completed these two now, and file reader is a subclass of input stream reader. Now, what else is pending to discuss? I mean, ignore this two. Ignore this two. Apart from this, what else is pending to discuss? Print writer, right? Print, yeah,
Print
print
writer.
writer is pending. Don't you get a question? Do we have something like print reader? Print reader is not there. Only print writer is there. Right? So this is something advanced. I will tell you the advantage of print writer, and I will also tell you why print reader is not there. Okay. So what is print writer? What operations does the print writer do? Print writer is going to do the same operations that is being done by file writer, buffer writer. Okay, there is an additional advantage for what? Additional advantage for print writer. Okay, so what is an additional advantage? Okay, just try to understand disadvantage of the write class. When I use the write method, when I use write method, if I pass something like 100, okay, don't we think that this 100 will be treated as small d? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
What if I really want to pass 100? My intention is I want to store the value 100 as an integer, but this write method is doing something behind the scenes. It is getting converted to character. What I can do to ensure that this 100 is going as the integer? Can anyone tell me?
Typecasting.
Typecasting is not applicable because it is expecting an integer argument only. Yeah, typecasting we can think, correct. What is the other thing that you can think? Can I do like this? We will also see about typecasting. Huh? So my idea is, can I pass 100 like this as a string?
Yes, sir.
Valid, no? You see the data. I mean, when you type something 100 in a file, the file will never know that the 100 is an integer or 100 is a string. It will never know. People who are reading it, they will get to know. They can decipher the actual, actual meaning of that particular data. People who are reading it, but the computer file will never differentiate, right? That's why they don't, usually have the specificity for the writer writer class. Don't you think that this is going to be a disadvantage? Because intentionally, my intention is to add something, but I need to ensure some additional, and I need to be very cautious so that this 100 will be treated as an integer. Yes or no? What if you let us say that, okay, my intention is I want to pass something like writer 10.2. Is it valid or invalid? Don't you think that you will get an error here? Okay, let us do
Yes,
this.
sir.
Let me remove this. Let's go back to the writer class. With the program, you will understand this better. For the writer class now. So what value would you see in the console? Don't you think that D will be character D will be printed in the the
Yes, sir.
small d will be printed, right? Let us go and see that this value small d is printed. But my intention is I want to print 100 directly. So I need to take a additional. I need to be very cautious if I want to pass the integer data. I want to treat this 100 as an integer. Now this is going to be like it will not be small d now, right? It will be 100 only, right? Because you are passing it as a string, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? If you just go back and see, now you see 100. Okay? For example, sometimes accidentally I might be doing this. Okay, the end user could be doing this, like he might be passing 10.2. 10.2 is a compile time error. The program will be broken. We need to forcefully typecast it to integer. If I typecast it to integer, don't you think that we are going to lose some values? The data is not going to be completely precise. Okay, let me run this.
Yes, sir.
My intention is to pass 10.2, but if you see, like after doing the typecasting, you don't see anything here. Or some restrictions. My intention is to pass 10.2, but something is happening. Okay, and for the character 10, I don't. Okay, let me pass 100.2. My intention is not D, no, because dot 2 is getting trimmed, right? This dot 2 is getting trimmed, and the only 100 is considered, but for 100 the equivalent Unicode is small d, right? This might not be intention. I need to be little cautious, no? Sometimes I want to pass a boolean value like true. I cannot pass this, or I want to pass a boolean value like false. Can I pass false? If I really want to pass false, I should be ensuring that it should be going in double quotes. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Right? So this can be avoided. This can be avoided by using the PrintWriter. That is the only advantage. The advantage of PrintWriter is everything is going to be same. If I take PrintWriter object, PrintWriter, okay, PW, new PrintWriter. Okay, it is asking us to pass the file. Okay, let me copy the directory here. Right, this is completely validated. You can pass a string here, PrintWriter. Okay, after doing this, I can utilize this method. Okay, if I want to use the right method, if I want to pass the 100 as an integer, now this will be treated as an integer only. Okay, if I want to pass the let us say that a kind of I'm sorry, not the right method. It's a print method. There is a method called print method. Okay, not the right method. There is a method called print method. You have to use the print method. It is going to support you to pass all the primitive data types. You can pass boolean type. You can pass, if you want, you can pass the floating point data type. If you want, you can pass the integer data type. Okay, if you want, you can pass the character data type. If you want, you can pass any other primitives. Okay, all the primitives are accepted here. If you want pass, if you can pass the string data type. After passing all this, what you want to do, you want to do the close operation. Let us see the output. Are you able to see? I mean, of course, a line is not added. Are you able to see the data is being passed specifically here?
Yes, sir.
Hello. If you want, you can add the new line. Now, by now we know, like how to add a new line, right? But the idea is we are able to pass the direct data. Let us add a new line here for the pw dot. We have a method. Okay, not new line. We can directly use a method called println method. Is the println. The method is itself giving us an option. There are some methods. You have no system.out.println. Println means giving the new line. If not, the data is going to get concatenated on the exiting line. Yes or no? Same thing happens here. You can use println. Let me open this. You're able to see the difference now,
Yes, sir.
right? So previously, the disadvantage in the buffered writer and the file writer. What is the disadvantage? You can use the write method only once, right? This write method will always accept either an integer value or the character value. I mean, or the character array, right? And or the what else we have? Or the string. So only the limitation is these are the limitations, right? It is very much limited to us, right? You can deal with only 3 overloaded parameters for the write method. It is applicable for both buffered writer and the file writer. Okay, for the print writer, if you want to use write method, you can use, but print writer is designed to make utilization of what? The print method. This is print method will accept all primitives. Making sense? If you want to add the data to the new line, you can just use ln. Hello? Getting sense? Making sense?
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These are the only things, okay? And the interview question could be like, okay, now you can understand this interview question very easily. You can answer this interview. What is the difference between, okay, they don't ask this first. Trust me, they don't ask this. But these things are important to understand the future topics. What is the difference between write 100? Now tell me what value you can expect in the output. Print 100. On if you call on this print writer object. What is output for this and what is output? What is the output for this? Can I say this will give capital D? I mean small d. This will give 100, right? This will write 100 in the right. Are you able to get?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. These are the only things. These are the major things. Okay. Now next level topic is like, okay, there is something called you can differentiate the data into 2 types. If I ask you something about the data, in Java, the data could be differentiated into 2 categories. What are they? The first one is you can have the character data. What is the character data? Any data that is going in the form of characters. Can I conclude that character data is something like the text data? Text data is called as what? The character data. Okay, the second type of data in Java programming language is you have something called binary data. What is a binary data? The data apart from correct, not zeros and okay. Internally it is zeros and ones only, but the images, PDF files, videos, audios. Do you agree one thing? Persistency means not only storing this text data, but also storing in images is also persistency. PDF file storing is also persistency. Storing videos is also persistency. Audio is persistency. Do you agree with that? Anything that you're able to store in the operating system is called as what? Persistency. Anything, okay, through the Java programming language, if you want to store data, that can be a character data or the binary data. Okay, to achieve that persistency, we use what? We use file IO strings. So far we have discussed about the character text data. These are the high level topics. Okay, we will understand. If you understand this, then getting knowledge about the databases is going to be very easy for you. Okay, sometimes you would see, right? Okay, sometimes you get a from, for example, if you are booking a ticket in IRCTC, you get the ticket in the form of image, right? PDF. Hello.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes you get some, they send a, if you place an order, you get the email confirmation. Again, in that email confirmation, they would be sending some attachments. That attachments can be a image file attachment or video attachment or audio attachment. Or sometimes, when you are trying to download something or video or audio through the internet, okay, if that data is available in the database only, it can be downloaded, right? Because the data is already persisted somewhere, then you can able to download it. And behind the scenes, one of the other programming languages is working under the woods, so that you are able to read those data, you are able to collect those data, you are able to download those data. Okay, to understand that complex things, we have to understand the simple things. Okay, this binary data will be understood in the concept of what? Stream readers and stream writers. Okay, this which is the next level topic. Okay, now I will tell you the advantages of these three. Okay, performance wise, why buffer writer is always better than all these three. What is the difference? Okay, when someone is asking you the difference between these three, what you can tell them? Okay, according to me, or not according to me, according to the Java, the file writer is, when I say file writer, okay, file writer is like very slowest. It is very slowest. Okay, buffered writer, it is fastest than all writers. Okay, print writer. Okay, performance wise, it is equal to, it is slowest only. Performance wise, it is same like file writer, but convenience. Want to talk about the convenience. Okay, you have an additional method. You have a method called print method, right? Which is overloaded. You can pass primitives. Convenience wise, it is good, but performance wise, it is same as file writer. Are you able to understand the difference? Why this is slowest, why this fastest, we will understand that with a small program. Can we proceed? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, let us see, guys. I will try to use the concept of time, concept of time here. Let us say that I am taking three files. Okay, let us say I am taking a file one. So this file one is going to be part of, let us use this one. Okay, aaa.txt. Okay, this is the location for the file one. Okay, let me take two more files, file 2 and file 3. Okay, instead of AAA, I want to create a file by the name of bbb.txt, pcc.txt. So how many files we have in handy? We have three files, right?
3 files.
So I want to write some number of lines. Okay, let me take that. I want to write something like, I want to write 1 lakh lines in a file. This is 1 lakh. 1 lakh, no? Right? So I also wanted, so these are the things, these are the very generic things I'm considering before starting my program. So the first thing is I want to start my time. Let us say that I want to activate a timer. There is a class called system class. System class, you can call a method called current time in milliseconds. The start one is going to capture the starting time. Are you able to follow? Don't worry about this. This is going to return a value of long time, which is called as what? Which is going to act as a counter. When time starts here. Hello? Getting or not? Time will be starting from
Yes,
here.
sir.
Okay. Let us understand this by debugging. Okay. File writer, and we will take the file writer class fw equal to new file, because we want to understand the difference between file writer, buffered writer, and print writer. Okay, firstly, I am taking the file writer. I am passing the file one location here. Making sense? After passing this, what I want to
Yes,
do,
sir.
I am running a for loop starting from I equal to 0. I is lesser than lines. Means 99,999, isn't it? Will run till 99,999, right? I plus plus. Okay, after running this fw.line, I'm not sure if this will work or not. Let's see. Fw dot what is this? Fw dot write method I want to call. This write method is going to have something like this is line number 5. What do you think? Every time, okay, you see what the line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, like that, right? After doing this, I want to give a new line. I'm using the backslash. Is it making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Making sense on this one? After this, I want to close the file writer. Let me close this. Okay, now I have started time. Now I want to end my time here. I want to say long end 1 equal to system dot, I'm sorry, system dot, okay, milliseconds. So you have the start time, you have the end time. After getting the value of start time, after getting the value of end time, I simply want to type something like the file writer time of the file writer, okay, plus end 1 minus start 1. Is it making sense? I just want to
Yes,
attach
sir.
milliseconds. Now, do you think the exact milliseconds times will be displayed in the console? Yes, no? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Shall we run this? I'm not sure whether it will work because sometimes file writer, see, file writer time is 161 milliseconds. Are you able to see? Okay,
Yes,
we
sir.
have the time of file writer. I do not want to see the file. Okay, let me see the file. The reason why is sometimes, see, you have a lot of line numbers, isn't it? You see, very
Yes,
big, no?
sir.
File is very big, no? Okay. But you have the time, you have captured the time. We really capture the time. Can we do this, repeat the same thing for buffered writer and buffer reader? Good idea, no? Hello? By repeating this, don't you
Yes,
think that
sir.
we will get the performance in which one is better, which one is not better? Right? Let us
Yes, sir.
let us repeat this. So what I can do, I can use the same thing, okay? Instead of long start 1, I can use long start 2, right? After doing this, instead of file writer 1, I can use what? File buffered writer pw equal to new buffered writer, which will accept what? File writer as an argument. Yes or no? I can
Yes,
directly
sir.
use
FW.
new file writer, right? New file writer, and you can pass a file. I can have to pass the file to it. Making sense, this one? This one is making sense, no?
Yes,
I
sir.
cannot pass a string here. I want to pass a file letter object. Instead of creating separately, I'm creating an object here and passing the file as an argument. The absolute path as an argument. And after doing this, don't you think that it will make more sense? If I repeat the same operation here,
Yes, sir.
right? For integer I equal to 0. So this time I can use BW. Right? Everything is going to be same. No? Right? After this, I can do what? I can do BW dot close. Making sense? Okay, since I have started the time here, I want to end the time now. Yes or no? I want to end the time. And let me say end to. Okay. After doing this, can if I just print, okay, if I just print the end minus start, okay, this is end to minus start to. Don't you think that we will get the performance here? I mean, we will get the actual time calculated in between these two. Okay,
Yes,
file
sir.
later, I can use buffered
Yes, sir.
writer. By looking at the time, now you can come to a conclusion. No? Which one is taking more time?
File
File
writer.
writer.
Can I say now? Can we conclude that performance-wise buffer rate is king here? Yes, no,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Now, can we repeat for the print writer also? Print writer, print writer, right? The same thing I will do. I will copy. I'll copy this instead of I will just change the variable name to start pre. Making sense? Then print writer pw equal to new PrintWriter. Okay, it will accept the absolute path. I can pass file 3, isn't it? File, making sense? After this, I will be repeating the same steps which I have repeated here. Okay, instead of BW, I will be using PW here, and I want to close the PW object. Okay, after this, the same thing. Okay, we can use end 3. This is start 3, this is end 3, right? End 3 minus start 3, get that in the milliseconds, and capture the time, PrintWriter time. Let me run this. Now you tell me which one is okay. You are able to see, change, because it is again repeating the same action. At one time you are getting this output. Which one is better among these three?
Buffer rate.
Buffer writer. Okay. Second one is what? Second one is I mean it's not even close to file writer. Okay. Not even close to file writer. Okay. File writer. Let me run this once again. It has to overwrite the existing file. No. Since it is overwriting the existing file, there is a conflict in time. Are you able to see it? Because already data is there. The existing data. Let me do one thing. Instead of A, let me do A, D, 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 E, 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 F, F. Now this is the plain text. No data is there, right?
New file.
No, new file, right? Let us understand this, the performance with the new file. We can compare conclusion. Now we see which one is better. Buffer writer is better.
PrintWriter.
Now here PrintWriter is better. So that's what there is a conflict happening. Usually buffer writer should be better. Let me rerun this once again. Sometimes it depends upon the thread. It depends upon the thread that is going to hold something, because is going to start at the same time due to the internal thread operations. Two operations is going to start. Okay, one operation will start much before than another. But the final conclusion is buffer writer is always better as per the documentation. Okay. Second one is what? PrintWriter. Convenience wise, PrintWriter is better because you have a lot of overloaded print methods. The third one is what? File. File writer is always last. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sometimes you may see PrintWriter is going to be in the first position. It does not mean that it is much better than buffer writer, but trust me, buffer writer is always better as per the documentation. It happens due to internal thread operations. Okay, if you want to understand that, again you have to start multi-threading concept, which is a future topic. This is simple demonstration to understand which one is better. Now the question is, why buffered writer is better? Do you know any idea? Now the follow-up question will be there. Now why buffer writer is taking small amount of time? I will tell you, right? Focus here. When you use file writer, no, internal, these are internal things. It is not required for your purpose. I am telling you. I have done a lot of research on this. That's why I am telling you. When you use file writer, okay, every operation, every write operation will be happening in the disk. For example, every write operation is equal to one disk operation. If I say 100 write operations, can I say 100 disk operations? Every time it is talking to the disk, every time it is communicating with the operating system, every time. When you want to call write method, one disk operation will happen for the file writer. If you are creating 100 write methods, 100 disk operation will happen. If you are writing 1000 write method, 1000 disk operation will happen. It's just like we have the hard disk here. Every time it communicates to the hard disk, every time it will talk to hard disk. Every time it talks to hard disk for each and every write operation. Okay, so whenever there is a disk operation, definitely the performance will be affected, because talking to a disk will always make the CPU slower. The RAM performance will be dropped. But the buffered writer, what it will do, no, it won't talk to the disk directly. If you do 100 write operations by using buffered writer, 1000 write operations by using buffered writer, These 1000 write operations will be stored in the RAM area first. Okay, it is going to occupy all the data. All the data will be collected in the form of chunks and it will be stored in the RAM area first. Okay, for all these 1000 write operations, only one disk operation will happen. When you are limiting the disk, when you ensure that communicating to the disk is reduced, performance is increased. That is what happening for the buffered writer. Hello, getting? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That is the meaning of buffer. Buffer means buffer that buffer the data temporarily in the RAM area. As soon as you collect all the chunks, okay, push all the chunks at once to the hard disk. So only one disk operation will happen. When the disk operation is very much limited, when you're limiting the disk operation, obviously the performance is always high. When you're increasing disk operation, obviously the performance will be very low. That is the reason why you see this much of difference for the almost see how much it is almost 3 times faster, right? Than the file writer. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Three times faster,
sir.
no? 3 times faster, which means obviously you are increasing performance 3 times, no? Right? When the things are happening for 3 seconds, this would ensure that it is happening for 1 second. If it takes 30 seconds, it will take care of the same things within 10 seconds, right? If you take large amount of time, right, that is going to be better with buffered writer, isn't it? For the large amount of time. Okay, but you don't use this. Okay, now we are not using this anywhere. Since these topics are there until Java 1.4, guys. I mean, in 1995, 1998. So in those time period, okay, the files are used to store the data, used to persist the data. Nowadays we have the databases, right? So we use there are some other topics like streams topic. Over there we'll understand, but this is the fundamental. Don't ignore this. Trust me, this will help you a lot to understand the future topic.